Who needs the Ashes? We are here live for the Pepsi Cup in Prague 2019. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Nishant Joshi,
And I'm Mino.
and we will be your commentators throughout this Pepsi Cup Prague 2019, held in the picturesque suburb of Prague called Vinoř.
So good morning to everybody. Where are you all tuning in from? We have a lovely sunny day today, and we have a team from...
We have one team from Bahrain and one team from Doha. Alshaheen Cricket Club are champions from 2 years ago. They're coming all the way from Doha. And their regional neighbours, Awali Cricket Club, have come all the way from Bahrain.
So we had a chat with Shubham this morning. Shubham is team captain for the batting team today, and he's very happy to be here again after being champions 3 years ago, Nishant. Wasn't 2 years ago? And he's very excited to play again this year.
Can I call Ronaldo? Is it okay? Is it locked? Oh, there's it in. Okay, I'll go and just... Okay. I'm coming with you, yeah? So, in the YouTube, in the chat, if anyone types the word results or ladder, it will bring up a link to the match results and the ladder for the tournament. So, like, you can just tell people they can do that and stuff. And I'm gonna, on this, we're gonna have it so we can see the YouTube chat. So if people are asking questions, so
We're just waiting for play to get underway in this first game of Pepsi Cup Prague 2019. Alshaheen Cricket Club are batting first. Awali Cricket Club from Bahrain are the fielding team. And we are all set and ready for play to get underway. The tension is palpable. Players have been waiting their whole lives for this moment. Forget the World Cup, forget the Ashes, my good friends. This is where the real cricket is being played.
you best credit you. You just run out of credit. Sorry.
And the first ball for Awali Cricket Club of Pepsi Cup Prague 2019 is tucked away cautiously to mid-wicket. What's the best way to check score for like low score
Use
And there's a rip-roaring appeal there. It points on the board there for the appeal, if nothing else.
There's a link to the live scope card in the description of the video. You won't see that on there. This is one handed. So that this is the live scope.
Three dots to start the innings, and then a one bounce ball. He's chipped it very confidently straight over the bowler's head.
for example, it's not much use yet because we won't get until after matches. But it's more just catching up the loading. I haven't yet. Sorry, I know something. We didn't get it.
And that's the end of the first over on the Chateau field. Alshaheen Cricket Club are 5 for none after 1 over. For those of you who are just joining us again, very good morning to everybody all over the world who's joining us for this festival of cricket here in the home of cricket, some would say. The Chateau field in Vinoř in Prague.
There's 3 back, and the rest of them are all here. And there's 4 that aren't even on there. But they added this morning.
It's quite a lot of players, isn't it?
Most of these guys are not here, they couldn't come.
And that is the first 6 of the tournament for Alshaheen Cricket Club. That was an almighty blow from Hassan over long off. And that's dispatched once again, full toss over long off for 4 this time. Looks like Hassan got it in iron off the first ball. First over, rather. And now he's dispatched Khan twice into the long field. Just a momentary delay while we wait for the retrieval of the first lost ball of the day.
Yes. It's 1 over old. Seriously, maybe.
Yeah, they changed that. It's really yeah. Oh, that is the first dropped chance of what I suspect might be many in this Pepsi Cup. It is still early in the morning, so you can understand some of these fielders still stretching out. Fielder half makes up for it the next ball. And Asan looks in the mood to make them pay for that early drop chance with a disdainful flick over square leg for a one bounce four. So Alshaheen Cricket Club from Doha after a very solid start. It's 14 for none after 2 overs.
I'll get it to call me back this time. Sorry, I didn't realise you were cricket. Need something for the ball, you let me know.
Thanks very much, mate. Alex, good to see you again. There's loads of Alex. It's been a few years. How's everything?
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Glad to be here. Good to see you. You remember me, no?
Yes, I do, yeah. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
It's a good day for cricket. Good day for cricket.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we've got the weather this week either. Yeah, by Sunday, it was raining the whole week. Alright, okay. Yeah. When's it in play? Oh, in Leeds. Yeah. Oh, I think I've been to Leeds once. Yeah, I went to the airport. But in those days, when I went there, you could drive. It's under it.
Oh, yes. And that's the second drop catch in as many overs. Relative sitter at mid-off there. Right on the boundary, nearly trickled over for 4. Same again, same batsman, same fielder. Oh, good effort. Good effort to tap it over. But he's only succeeded in pushing it just over into his own goal. So that's 6. I wonder if it'll be third time lucky. Same bowler, same batsman, same fielder.
Oh, that must have been as well. Because very difficult for years. My wife, she wasn't my wife. Alshaheen making a change in the field.
Oh, right, okay.
The fielder who had dropped the catch 2 balls ago and assisted the last ball over the boundary has gone off with an injured hand. So substitute has come on.
So we got our first injury of Pepsi Cup Prague 2019.
Or the option is if anybody has any
Ball comes in. Late cut down to the backward gully to end the over.
So Alshaheen Cricket Club are 28 for none after 3 overs.
Asan going along very nicely on 20. And Clark on 7.
And it looks like we have our first mini drinks break of Pepsi Cup Prague 2019. We are, of course, sponsored by Pepsi, so we will be having many delicious drinks breaks. But after 3 overs at 8 AM on a Thursday morning, even I think this may be a little bit too soon. What do you think, Terry?
Indeed, he was taking water out with him, but I think it was more of a gear change rather than actually a refreshment break.
So we've seen it all. We've seen 2 drop catches. Well, 2.5 if you're being harsh.
Certainly. A couple of sixes, an injury.
A lost ball, found a ball, and now we see spin for the first time.
He's got that through the field. Raced away. Just one man out in the deep for Alshaheen. Long off. That's very straight, very big, and 6. Fairly nice shot. Asan moved to 30 now with those 2 boundaries. The bowling of Sheikh.
Momentarily had another lost ball there. We now have a fouled ball. So spin hasn't stopped Asan's assault on Awali Cricket Club so far. 10 runs off the first 2 balls of his over.
And as a result, Alshaheen making a few adjustments to the field. We've now got a man on the boundary square, on the offside. In addition to that long off. Straight to point. Not able to stop it cleanly, and they get a single. Lots of action going on the Banks field as well.
Yep, we are slightly precariously positioned in the commentary box. We can just see. Hi, boss. So nice to see you.
Terry, do you know where is the... Sorry.
No. And 4 more for the batsman there. This is proving to be a very expensive over.
None of them have been particularly bad balls either. It seems to be quite a reasonable left-arm spinner, Mr. Sheikh, but both batsmen, Asan and Claire, do seem to have taken a liking to him, and that one was tossed up, and that was dispatched brutally over long on for another 6. After quite first over, these guys have really started to take it off, haven't they, Terry?
Yeah, they definitely seem to like the slower stuff. Very happy to let the ball come on to them. No big body movements required by either of the batsmen to score these runs. It's lovely, gentle, well-timed shot. Has the bowler got a response? Oh!
Has he ever? And
A big response.
And it's fair to say Sheikh might just count himself a little bit unlucky this over. That was an edge which just sneaked between wicketkeeper and slip, and wicketkeeper admonishing his first slip there. He thinks that should have been taken.
Well, I think for a
Luxury net boxes.
spin bowler, I'm a little curious about the positioning of the first slip. I thought for a spin bowler that slip was a little bit too wide. That if he had been straighter, that way where you're almost over the shoulder of the keeper, a more traditional first slip for a spinner, that would have gone straight down his throat.
Yeah, I mean, after the horse is bolted, slip positioning is always a very contentious thing. When it comes straight into your hands, you look like a genius, and anytime it sneaks through, I suppose it should never sneak through though. But, heads up. There have been a handful of very straight sixes so far. These have been as straight as the die.
Indeed, it's a new over, but there's nothing new about what the batsman is doing to the bowling. It is the same story. A lofted drive straight back over the bowler's head for 6 more runs.
And I fear this could be the over. After a very sedate first over, they all listened to a false sense of superiority, didn't they, Alshaheen Cricket Club? I thought they would be... it didn't look like they were going to be as explosive as they are right now, but now they really are going for it. And again, this time swung through a vacant fine leg for 4. The bowler just drifting onto the pads there. He knows he can't do that, and the bowler starting to just fray at the edges a little, perhaps.
Going back to what you're saying about the first over, I think it was very smart. I think a lot of people in T20 cricket, they think you've got to go the tonk right from the first ball, but you've still got to get to grips with the pace of the ball, the pace of the wickets, and give yourself a couple of balls to get bat on ball and feel comfortable. And these men are definitely comfortable right now.
And I did mention the bowler starting to perhaps fray a little bit at the edges, Mr. Fernandez there. Now he's looking at his crease. I'm not sure what sort of marks he's looking at, because it is AstroTurf, so there's certainly no groove on the front foot there for the bowlers.
Yeah, but he's definitely not happy about the fact that 28 runs have come from his 2.4 overs, as the fielder's just locating the ball from outside of the ground again. But thankfully, it has been found again. Fernandez has it back in his hand. He's making some slight modifications to his field. Do you think that it's going to have any assistance for him?
Well, they've just been a bit inconsistent so far. They've just been drifting. And once again, he drifts onto the pads, and that's exactly where he didn't want to bowl it with this field.
No.
With these power play settings, only 2 fielders allowed outside the 30-yard circle for the first 6 overs. You have to be tighter than this, and they're just bowling a little bit all over the place right now. And bowler looks like he is starting to really worry now, Terry.
Indeed, and considering the...
And we're seeing the first double teapot of the day, Terry.
Aha! Yep.
What's going through the bowler's mind right now? I know he's given up on this game now, Terry.
He's watching the other match. Yeah. And
We're seeing the double teapot, the huff and the puff. We're seeing him check the front foot. Now he's got his arms folded.
don't think he's got anyone but himself to blame, because he's got a really tight offside field that would be very hard to pierce, and he's straying down leg side.
It's a bit of an odd field as well, to be fair. It's a 5-4 field. So, a 5-4 field during the first 6 overs for a pace
That's
bowler,
a much better ball.
and that's probably the length to bowl on this pitch. We've seen just a couple of attempted cuts from that length to keep just a tad low, which has happened previously on the Chateau field.
The end of the over, it is now none for 69.
Or 69 for none, those of you who like to speak English, Terry.
If you say the wicket's second, how can you have a fifer? The Southern Hemisphere understands how our language works, which is why we have it correct.
Do you have online scoring? No.
And a rare dot ball for the last over of the power play. This looks like Sheikh has been taken off after going for 23 runs in his over. And now we have some more medium pace, but that's once again dispatched. That was a bit more agricultural. I fear we'll be using the word agricultural quite a bit over the next few days.
Purely because we have lots of agricultural land around us.
Well, we are in the middle of a farmland in the outskirts of beautiful, pleasant Prague. And many balls have been dispatched into the cornfield so far. That was delicately cut through point. A touch of class from Mr. Clare there.
The change of style of bowling didn't change the result. In the air again, just over the infield. This one's not going to go to the boundary. Almost seems like a shock.
And that's another dead straight 6. And that's 50 up for Mr. Arslan, the first 50 of this year's Pepsi Cup Prague.
Yeah, that straight 6, the previous ball was the one that brought up his 50. Both of these batsmen now going well over 200 strike rate.
It's not often that you see both batsmen striking specifically in the 230s.
No. You sort of expect one person might be doing that while the other one's focusing on rotating the strike. But Hassan and Claire are really enjoying the bowling and have adapted to the conditions very quickly, very efficiently. They're going about this first innings with a lot of efficiency. Hassan on 59 from 24 deliveries and Claire on 28 from 12 deliveries. We've had 11 fours so far in the innings and 6 sixes.
These guys really have raced during the power play. 6 sixes so far already. Now it's Irfan who joins the attack here. And that's delicately played to Point, who fields her very well. It's a tough field to be a fielder on at the best of times here. It's a little bit bumpy. So to take it cleanly on the half volley is some achievement, to be fair. And that's another one which hits straight.
Oh,
That
lovely throw from the deep.
That's the sort of I could describe it as an inadvertent run-out attempt. That's the sort of thing that could easily just sneak a batsman out. But you can't bowl there. You cannot bowl there. That was a very, very short long hop, and it's Imran Sheikh who is being taken to the cleaner so far. This change of end really is not doing him any good. I think it is perhaps a little bit harsh of the captain to bring him on against these two guys again. I'm not sure what good a change of end is going to do on AstroTurf, quite fair with you.
Well, the first 3 deliveries of this over weren't too bad. They were probably amongst the most economical since the first over. Irfan Sheikh in again. Oh, big edge. But that is going to be 4 more for the batsman.
Irfan just has had no luck at all today.
No, he's not having a pleasant morning so far.
That's the second edge which has gone nowhere, just wide of wicketkeeper. That one goes for 4.
It is far more understandable. You're talking about the changing ends on an AstroTurf. There is, we see another 6 sail over the boundary. There is a bit of a legitimacy about bowling, especially bowling spin from one end on this Chateau field. But normally you would want the spinner coming from the Chateau end where Sheikh bowled his first over. Primarily because for the right-hander, their onside boundary would then be much longer. As we're looking in the camera, the boundary on the left-hand side is much bigger than the boundary on the right. Of course, when he bowled from the Chateau end, they went very straight with their boundaries. Viewers should be able to see the chateau that this field is named after, the building just in the background to the right of the screen. It's called Setnica.
That seemed like it was a catch begging to be taken, but somehow it's just eluded a short and wide third man. That's no disparaging comment on the fielder, I must add. And between the short, wide third man and a backward point, it just dissected them at a very catchable height.
Oh, that's a nice ball.
Batsmen seem to have a bit of a brain fade there. He had so many options on. And we've seen the first half leave of the day at least. But Alshaheen looking for a mammoth score here. Oh, and we've seen another drop. That was a tough chance. The bowler was not expecting that to go straight back to him, but it came back to him at a shin height. It almost skewed off, almost mistimed off the middle actually.
Indeed, but the bowler Mohammed did very well to get to it.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty good stop in the end, all things considered.
That will be a no ball. I believe that's pitched off the wicket. It was very wide. The umpire was about to signal wide and then changed it to a no ball because it's pitched off.
And these guys really like the straight boundaries.
Indeed.
I think if you're a Wily Cricket Club's captain right now, you really have to be having a long and hard chat with your bowler at the start of each over. They've just been bowling far too full on the whole end, especially the spinners. I mean, anything full has just gone the distance.
Indeed, it's been so effortless by the batsmen as well. This is much shorter. Pinged right in, but the batsman still picks it up. They're racing back for a second and will do so comfortably.
And that's exactly what we were discussing, Terry, that longer onside boundary from the Chateau end to the right hand there. Even that ball, it seemed to sit up just a little bit and the batsman seemed to pick it up quite well as well, but and that's exactly where you can't bowl. Bowler reverts to type. It's right in the batsman's arc, and to their credit, these Alshaheen openers have played some delectable cricket shots. There have been a couple of agricultural shots which we can live with. We can live with in T20 cricket, but there have been some very, very pleasing cricket shots. It's almost like they've been playing a lot of shots have just been extension of natural straight drives.
Absolutely. It is appropriate to pull out the odd agricultural shot, considering this used to be agricultural land. What's not understandable is why the captain of the fielding side has not put anybody straight.
Yes, I would have thought that after maybe the second or third over, having just a very straight long off or a very straight long on would have been a very obvious, a very reasonable thing to do.
He's had for the last 2 overs from the southern end, but from when the ball was coming from the Chateau end, both along off and along on, but there is such a huge gap between them that it is nothing to deter the batsman from just playing those effortless, straight, lofted drives.
And Terry, without much fanfare, Hassan has raced to 87 off 31. Meanwhile, he's left his partner, Claire, well behind on just 34. He still only faced 18 balls. But Claire is looking pedestrian compared to Hassan, who's now on the Aussie Devils number.
Indeed.
87, 13 away from 100. Hope we haven't put the mockers on him.
As he's not Australian, it shouldn't be of any concern. And as I wasn't the one who mentioned it.
Now we've seen a couple of consecutive dot balls for the first time since the first over now. Alshaheen now 123 off 8 overs, but that's another ball which is now just raced to long off. Well fielded there, well blocked. Sometimes you just have to get your body behind it.
Oh, he's danced down the wicket. Fielder's coming around.
Oh.
He got to it,
I mean,
but he was off balance when he got there and straight through his legs.
He seemed to run past it in the end.
Well, yeah, that's why it went straight through his legs. Half his body was past it.
A valiant effort there by the fielder at long on, who now comes very, very straight. And I think that's a sensible option from the Awali Cricket Club captain.
Can you tell me the score, individual score? So it's so
European Cricket Network is the app. European Cricket Network. Alshaheen. End of the over. Alshaheen still going along very strongly. None for 129 is the score. Hassan has moved to 92, Claire on 35. Although there was a couple of edges earlier in the innings and a couple of dropped catches, these two putting on a big total. Change of bowling from the Chateau end. Interesting run up. He's bamboozled the batsman completely for a dot ball. European Cricket Network. Just download the app. One guy's on 90, one guy's on 35. Yeah, so if you check the comments, I'll post it there. Lovely drive through the covers. There is a man just inside the boundary there, so he'll just collect the one run. Darnett comes into bowl again. Full toss. And that's landed just over the rope.
That looked a 6 from here.
Yep, the umpire is
The umpire
signalling
wants
6.
to give it.
He
wants
started to
to
look
give
for a 4, but one of his colleagues over near the scorer's tent, which is where it landed, and it's also been called a no ball. So the next ball will be a free hit. It's played on. Bowled on the free hit.
So the bails go flying, but to no avail for Awali Cricket Club, who are really getting taken to task right here. Score of 250 plus is looking well on the cards here.
Alshaheen none for 139. 1 ball to go in this over.
Okay.
Stop. And that is the end of the over. Score moving to 143 now. And Hassan is back on strike. He is on 95.
Just 1 hit away now, Terry.
Indeed. He's already hit 7 sixes so far in this innings, so expecting him to bring up his 100 with the 8th 6 is not off the cards. He dances down the wicket. It's not going to be 6.
That's well fielded at long on by Stan. Stan the man there at long on. I stand for Stan.
Clear on strike now. Drives to the long off fielder.
Relative quiet period here for Alshaheen.
Just 2 singles. That brings Hassan back on strike.
Oh, he knows. I think he knows. Do you think he knows, Terry?
Yes. Opened himself up a bit there, but not able to get the shot away. Comes down the track again.
Well, into the nervous 90s here, and that's once again well watched by Stan. After an early misfield, Stan has made a couple of solid stops here, down on difficult turf at long on. Claire back on strike, just cuts it to wide third man. Hassan knows he doesn't want to be making any. They don't want to lose a wicket to a run out here. That would be a crying shame after this start.
No. It's a little bit of a race now to see which of them gets to the milestone. Claire is heading towards 50, and if that rates, no, the fielders come around, doesn't get the boundary, they come back for the second. It was a good throw. But the over will be completed, and Claire will move to 48. Hassan on 96, edging closer and closer to that century. But he'll have to wait a little longer. Hassan on 97 at the end of that over. any type of boundary, and Asan will have the first ton of the 2019 Pepsi Cup.
So Asan in the red cap on strike now, 97 of 40 balls. And that's smashed through wide, long off, and that's the 100 off just 41 balls in the first game of Pepsi Cup Prague 2019. And there is a warm round of applause from his teammates.
Well deserved, absolutely well deserved, that round of applause. Great knock, and it was a nice shot to bring it up. Very appropriate that he went straight to get the runs to get there, as he scored so many. Goes to the air this time. Fielder comes in.
Oh, and he's lost that in the sun.
Yeah,
He's lost that right in the sun. He was looking. He is wearing sunglasses, but I will. I think I'll give him that one, Terry. He is,
absolutely.
The sun is right, just staring straight into the sun right now, and that seemed to down him a little bit as well. It was just that deeper onside field. Again, that was a not terrible strategy, and again into the deeper onside field. Let's see if there's a bit more leeway that side. It seemed like he's just stopped that on the boundary there.
Same fielder, but this time much squarer. Got around to it. Looks like a good stop. Save a couple of runs.
And you see, even though that was a full toss, he's not caught that completely cleanly. But certainly on the leg side, you have so much more leeway, which really calls into question Awali's bowling strategy to this point.
That's a wide.
I will certainly call that delivery into question, Terry.
Mm-hmm.
Came round the wicket for the first time. I was expecting him to the penny to have dropped and him to start bowling it into the pads, perhaps. But that was a most bizarre delivery.
He's just pulled it across the body a bit too far. That's much better, and he's beaten the batsman. That would have to be the first time Asan's played and missed, wouldn't it?
Just a relative lull after reaching the century. Let's see if he can power through. If he does, we'll certainly be looking at a score of close to 200, I would have thought. That's a brilliant stop on the boundary at long off, and well helped by his friend at long on. For those of you who are asking, I have posted the link to live scores in the comments. You can go to European Cricket Network. There is an app for that. There is a website for that as well. It's ecn.cricket. Heads!
Hello. Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
You're from Canada?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Hi, I'm Nina. Nice to meet you.
Samir. Nice to
Hi,
meet you.
Samir.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Where in Canada are you from?
I'm from Toronto.
Oh, good, good, good. Is
So
it
you guys
first
are
time?
broadcasting here?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
we're
that's
doing
nice.
the
That's cool.
commentary and social media. We're also doctors as well.
Oh, are you guys?
If there's any injuries, we're available. Is it your first time in Prague?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. Same as Canada, the weather is
What is
very good.
What do you think about Prague? What do you think about Pepsi so far?
So far, this is my first match here.
Oh, right, in Prague. In Prague, okay.
And so far, looks good.
Yeah. Is your whole team all from Toronto? The whole time from Toronto?
The whole from
Or
Toronto.
you? Oh,
Everybody.
everyone.
Well, like not proper Toronto.
Yeah.
It's like nearby places.
Okay.
10, 15 kilometers here.
What's the ticket scene like?
Cricket in Canada is the same thing. Like it's all private.
Yeah.
Right? So the government doesn't support that much. They do have a national team.
That I'm logged in.
Oh, they do.
I'm logged in on that.
Not as good as hockey and baseball.
Do Canadians take a big difference?
Sorry.
Can't. You have to
Oh,
leave,
okay.
please. No one. Oh.
Oh, okay.
Well,
So Claire has departed after reaching his landmark 50. Hassan remains strong on 107 off 48. There's another heave right across the line as we see a relative slowdown here for Alshaheen. Mohammed just slightly putting the brakes on things. Well, they took a couple of balls to get going. But Hanglo now coming to the party with a couple of consecutive boundaries. So after that relative lull, Alshaheen really powering on. Make that 3 in a row. Now Anglo upping the ante with a 6, a 4-4-6, following that first ball wide to start the over. And Awali just don't seem to know where to bowl today, and everything that they have tried has just gone straight through the V. It's been in the arc and out of the park so far.
He's gone shorter this time. Just the 1 run.
I much prefer that length on this sort of pitch, Terry. At least as a change-up. Maybe not every single ball, but it's a bit short of a length.
You've got to have variation in T20 cricket. That's gone to the air, but that is over the fielder, over the boundary. Another 6 for Asan.
Well, I like that. That was a bit of variety from Asan. Started walking to square leg there, gave himself a lot of room. He knew where he wanted to hit that. He knew where the bowler was going to bowl it as well. He knew that that was going to be right in his arc, and he just opened himself up beautifully. It's well timed. Very well timed. He understands that the offside boundary is very short. There's no point heaving it to leg. Just a nicely timed. Well, I just say that. As I say that, he walks across his stumps to point this time, and he flicks it, perhaps making my point, for a single to square leg.
I guess now that he's approaching 50 balls faced, despite the fact that he's well over 100, he wants to add a little bit more variety, add some more variation to his wagon wheel. Hence the movement at the crease before both of those previous balls were even delivered.
Yeah, the only criticism you could say of the batsman so far is that his wagon wheel has been a little bit one-dimensional.
Certainly cannot fault his timing, or the fact that he's at 112. Two fielders converging.
That is an impressive bit of fielding by Ashish, I have to say. Left-handed, one-handed pickup swoops down. It is a bumpy outfield, so I appreciate anybody who can pick up the ball cleanly in this.
He's done very, very well. Asan picked up 2 more runs.
That's another straight hit.
And he's out.
This time he's taken out. Asan caught it long off by Gaunthi. Just had the elevation, just not the distance on that occasion. And that's probably the first chance he's offered up in a fair while, but what an innings from Asan.
Fantastic innings. Comes to an end off the bowling of the Awali vice-captain Mohammed. Picking up the catch of the man who has done all the damage. That was a very fine knock. Fantastic way to start off the tournament with a centurion. He was part of a 150 plus opening partnership. Awali hoping that the tide has turned now in the match and that they can... Oh! Bit of an edge there. misses the stumps, past the keeper, and the batsmen get through for 1.
Now that Mr. Hassan's out, I feel more optimistic about Awali's chances of keeping Alshaheen under 300.
Another single. This has, so far, with the 2 newer batsmen at the crease, Hangalo and Pitigala. The run rate has decreased slightly.
We have the man himself, Mr. Hassan, coming on air now for a few words.
I think there is some mistake with the name, with the scorer. Just ask him to change the name.
Now joined by Mr. Jaffrey, yes, who for the entire innings we've been calling Hassan. Unfortunately, there was a slight mix-up with the online scoring, so all of the credit we've been giving all morning to Hassan, we should be giving onto the shoulders of Jaffrey. Well played, sir.
Thank you.
Great knock. How did you find the conditions?
It's not difficult, but when go inside in the morning, it's wet, and I think so it's skitty.
Yeah.
But when I start the batting, and I think everything is perfect.
Yeah, well, fantastic knock. 116 from 50 balls, 12 fours, and 8 sixes. A lot of those boundaries, very, very straight. Is that your preferred area to hit?
No, it's depend on the bowling. When bowler try to bowl full, and it's a speed between 100 and 120. Then I try to just play it in the V shape, and that's why.
Yeah.
And I think, and then I do.
It was excellent. Was there any of the bowling that you found troublesome that gave you any?
Yeah, the leg spinner bowled very well.
Yeah.
And the other guys also bowled very well. But when we batting on the crease, and I think everything is very easy for me. But it's not a very good batting surface. It's difficult to bat on.
Yeah, takes a bit of adjustment to get used to. Well, thank you very much for joining us. We'll let you go and have a drink and a rest and relax, and good luck for the rest of the tournament.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, man. That's quite short again, beating the batsman this time for a dot ball. Just log in as yourself. Another play and a miss. Another dot ball. Since the departure of the 2 openers, the run rate has decreased significantly. Awali making an effort to get back. That's in the air. Fielder's coming in. Oh, he got to it, but it's just died on him, unable to take it. Batsman go through for the 2 runs. After 16 overs, Alshaheen 200 for the loss of 3 wickets. Batsman at the crease at the moment, about to face the next over from Galti is Pitigala, non-strikers end, Saxena. Hopefully, because the name's all been screwed up. Despite the fact that a guy from the batting team was sent over there, they got named the opener wrong. We've been sitting here the whole time, and so it says this guy scored 100. He hasn't even batted.
Okay. I'm just thinking what the words he's using.
Galti into Pitigala. Lofted drive, it's in the air. Over the boundary. 6 more. So we'll just pick up the 1 run. The fielder in the deep collects it. Should be Saxena on strike now. It's a valuable dot ball for Awali. They've picked up a few more dot balls since the departure of the top order. They are still going to have to chase a massive total. In the air, falling safe. Oh! In the air again. Great effort by the fielder just inside the boundary. Leaps up, gets his hand to it, but it just bounces off his palm over the boundary for 6.
Well, they are hitting to the shorter leg side boundary of this side, and you just wonder whether the fielder, who was just perhaps loitering in no man's land a few meters inside the boundary, I think everyone on both grounds today would be well advised to stay right on the rope.
Absolutely. We don't have big grounds here in Prague. Both of the fields here at Vinoř are, all the boundaries are sub 60 meters, hovering in the low to mid 50s. So there really is no point, if you are outside the inner circle, of not being right on the boundary. Always easy to come in, my fielding coach said to me as a boy. Much harder to go back.
Sorry, I need to.
Hi, Jonty. This is Chris Pierce calling from Czech Cricket. Hi. Yeah, not too bad. We've got quite a big issue with the scoring app in one of the games. I've sent you a few messages on Skype. I don't know. Are you able to help us now? Yeah, perfect. Basically, I'll give you a really quick rundown of what's happened. First innings on the Mad Dogs versus Canadian Hawks game. I think it was about the 13.5 over mark. There was a bug in the app, and it's inserted like a dismissal when we didn't put anything there, and it's not allowing me to delete the ball to be able to move on. We're now just about to start the second inning, so I was hoping there's some way that you can go in and give us a total for the first innings, like 171 for 6, so that we can start the second innings and try and solve the ball by ball later. Thank you.
So I was thinking throughout the tournament, when we have times like this when it took them a while to find the
Yes.
ball.
I did that, hopefully.
And it's just
I
us.
figured you need that access.
There's no one we've got from any of the teams.
Yeah.
And ask you a few questions about radio cricket. And you can ask me some questions about Czech cricket.
I think it's 13.5 if I remember right. There's 2 dismissals, 2 balls in a row, and it's the second one of those. Wasn't a dismissal.
4 days, so I'm sure we'll get through our whole life story several times.
Yeah, but I mean, with the games at very different times and different teams, it doesn't matter if we're repeating shit.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Doing some other points.
171 for 6.
Let's read this.
Like a photo of it? Or? Yeah. Yeah, perfect. You're an absolute legend. Thank you. So, fantastic. Thank you very much. Let me just see if
I don't eat till 10 o'clock.
Do I need to go out of the app and back in again?
This is doing like intermittent fasting, where I generally don't eat between
I still see 118
6
for
p.m.
6.
and 10 a.m. And then just have 2 meals.
Why do you do that?
I've closed it, I've tried to refresh, and I'm still seeing 118 for 6.
Why do you do that?
Most of the
171 for 6.
initial
Perfect.
motivation
Right.
is to lose a bit of weight.
Perfect. So I'm going to go to the other guy. Perfect. I'll send you that shortly. Thanks, John.
Here,
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thanks. Bye bye.
Doing it as a complete lifestyle adjustment, because I don't be doing something for a month or 2 months or whatever. It's got to be shifty. This is the way you're now doing things to have effect. And I find it really beneficial and good with energy and focus and sleep, and yeah, just working. I've only been doing it for a couple of months. And I lost quite a lot of weight.
Really?
It's 3 months now.
That's a good catch.
Back with you live commentary just in time for a fantastic catch on the boundary. Pick up the 4th wicket to go down for the Alshaheen innings. The departing batsman is Pitigala. Alshaheen now 233 for the loss of 4 wickets. It is a very big total that is still not actually completed. Two more overs. Confident they'll get to 250, Nisha?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you've got two.
What do you think they would be targeting after 12 more deliveries?
Well,
that doesn't help them.
I think you can subtract a few from my revised score. Not quite a collapse going on here, but certainly the momentum just being halted ever so slightly here.
Compared to the rest of the innings, though, 2 wickets and 2 balls is quite significant. Saxoner getting stumped there off the first ball of the 18th over.
All in all, it's been a rather good game of cricket so far, hasn't it? We've seen everything.
We've certainly been entertained. Lots of sixes, 4s, Centurion, the other opener getting a 50. Some catches, stumping now, a run out. There's a few dropped catches earlier on. In the air.
And that's cleared the boundary by a long way. That is a powerful looking stroke from a powerful looking man. Stand the man. Bowling the 19th over. And that's chipped. I think Gulti there at long on would have fancied his chances for a while. Oh, I thought it was in action again there, and it's gone completely the opposite direction. But it just trickles, slows down towards the third man boundary for a single. So tight over there from the stand. So, end of this over, we have to do interviews for these two teams as well. So just catch. Huh? I think realistically it's going to be a struggle to get in every single captain for every single game, but we'll do as much as is reasonable. Yeah. Really?
Yeah, it's just coming out.
Okay.
But Kristen is what
Okay.
I need to send the scorecard first thing.
But so,
He send it straight to John. He knows what to do with it. I don't know how much he knows, but some of the batsmen are wrong. Like, the opening batsman she's got is batting now. But the opening batsman got 116 and she got out 5 overs ago. I don't know who's told them it's possibly booked. Okay.
that's a decent way to start the final over of the innings. Awali just putting the brakes on ever so slightly.
Right. So just 5 more balls remaining in the innings, and Alshaheen are 5 runs away from that 250 milestone. Now we've only 4 wickets in hand. And that is 4 more.
I think it was fair to describe those 4 runs as particularly agricultural.
Indeed. And before the ball had gotten to the boundary, I had already expected that you were going to refer to it as exactly that, because of how much so it was. Off the toe of the bat, straight to the fielder. That's a get through for the 1, so that will be the 250. And see what they can go, how far they can go beyond that. These 3 more balls. In the air, way down to cow corner, and that is 6. It's to the longest boundary, not only on this Chateau field, but of either of the 2 fields. Bowler in again. It's in the air, over the kind of wideish fly slip, or shortish, wideish third man. The fielder in the middle of nowhere, and 4 runs picks up for Alshaheen to complete the innings. The most impressive batting performance from Alshaheen
particularly from the openers, Jaffrey and Claire, Centurion Jaffrey. Claire getting the 50. Alshaheen had finished 6 for 260. Most impressive total. One that is going to be very difficult for Awali to chase down. If they do, we will be in for a hell of a show in the second innings. We'll be pausing with the live commentary, but the live stream will continue during the innings break. We shall be back in a little under 20 minutes with the resumption of play, the second innings. Stay with us. As I said, if Awali are able to chase this down, it is going to be one hell of a show. Some very impressive batting. If they're not, we might see some very impressive bowling. Our commentary team, Nishant and myself, Terry, will be back with you in about 10 minutes. And don't forget, you can follow along the live scores with the European Cricket Network app. There are links in the description for the video to the app on the Google Play Store or the Apple Store, and there's a link to the live scores also in the description. See you in 10 minutes.
tape that can hold you nicely.
And you're getting the score synced over here in the system.
I'm looking at them live online.
Okay, so you have it on.
It's been coming fine through, except for that name mix-up, and I knew as soon as I found out that the names were wrong, that it's because someone's told you the wrong
Yes,
thing. Everything else with seeing the live scores was fine.
yeah, it was fine. And after this, there is another correction in the other team.
Okay. Hang on.
Everyone is sorted out.
Yeah,
Can we
sorry,
start?
I'm just telling you. How many minutes we have?
1 minute.
Okay, I'll grab something.
Poonam. Do you want to put the title card back up just for about 10 minutes?
How do I do that, Terry?
Something where you switch.
Oh, slating? Is that it? Slate?
What was the?
Mohammed Jafri,
Yeah, and the other guy was.
Mirza also. They have to be interchanged.
Maybe.
And was there something else?
No, that's it. I'll let you know at the end of the game because I know there is one
Do you
fielder
have to
name
change
I
it to,
finished, but I'm not sure what name I finished.
What
But do you know how to put the title card back up?
First?
I know it's number 1 and number.
That's the situation. This is the only cake we can have.
I just let you know because I just started with another one. So just give me a few minutes. Once I go there, I'll just.
So yeah, they're about to start in a minute.
Okay.
So don't worry about it.
Okay.
We'll look later of the I hate apples.
Okay.
Really
I'm sure it is straight.
hate.
I'm sure it is straightforward on here,
I'm
but
gonna-
I'm not sure what. It has an option saying we'll be right back.
Yeah, it's
But I know that there's
it's
something.
really simple to do. It's just actually doing it, and the glare on there is a problem.
Yes.
The fact that it's an apple makes me scared
Ah.
to touch it.
Cards. Okay, there is a section which just says card. It says add card. Okay.
But yeah, they're only.
Oh, so do we have to create a card?
There is a card created. You don't want to create it. There's a card created for every single video that
Oh, really?
shows the two teams and the times and everything.
Oh.
And so
Mm.
I don't think you like that one.
What was that?
It's chocolate music. And that's it.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, about. Chocolate is really funny. I really like the texture of this.
See, a lot of people are saying that it looks very like natural on me. Because when they see it, they're just like, well, just looks like. Because you know, when some people put red on it, it's like. All this is windy.
Oh, we just got some stuff for you, Terry. Food isn't good to fight here. I walked in and that's where I went, My idea was get one of each. We'll try it, and then we see what we like and go back.
Yes.
So, oh, you
I'm
got
just
as well.
gonna
Yeah, just put it.
pile it all on. Knock ourselves out. We're about to get underway with the second innings. Start.
That looked like a very handy delivery to start. I always like to see a left-arm pacer opening the innings, and there was just enough shape to keep us interested there.
Absolutely. Also,
Oh yes! What a delivery!
fantastic ball.
Coming in off just a few paces, and then out of nowhere,
Indeed.
it's like a slingshot.
I was just about to say as he bowled that ball that he was looking a lot quicker than anything we saw in the first innings. But then also, the way that came back in on the batsman,
I would
just
say
no chance.
that's close to a perfect delivery.
Yeah.
Second ball.
Absolutely.
First ball gave him a little bit of a sighter of what might be coming, but I think the second ball seemed a lot quicker, just fizzed through the air. Very deceptive off such a short run up as well. It has almost a spinner's run up, really. Then
Certainly.
the gather is so quick.
We saw many a bowler in the first innings who had a much longer run up, but was significantly slower. So that was certainly the batsman quite difficult for him to adjust and be ready for such pace.
Just
But as I
watching,
said, that ball came back in on that batsman.
that was a catapult, that was a slingshot, that was a boomerang, all in one. And I like the bowler absolutely ready at the top of the mark straight away, and he looked on it today.
Absolutely. Another top ball just wide of off stump.
Been talking about bowler's body language, and I really like this because he's just taken the ball, walked straight back to his mark, not looked anywhere else. He's just focused. Okay, now there's a little bit high, probably just about waist height, but I suppose even full tosses off such a short run up at this pace, you don't get much chance to see the ball coming towards you.
Not at all. Not at all.
Even now with this short run up, it means the batsman's not got much time to think and gather his own self.
Oh! Goes shorter this time, and it bounces at that really difficult height into the batsman's chest. Gets bat on it. No control, really. Really lucky. That could have gone anywhere.
I'm enjoying watching this bowler.
Oh!
And that seemed like a much slower delivery. I'm not sure if he'd intended it to come out like that, but it seemed the batsman was actually a little bit quick onto that, if anything else, but still missed it by a country mile. So he had an over a huge variation there. I'm not sure all of it was intentional, to be fair, but coming off such a short run-up, very difficult to latch onto anything very full or very short. Very difficult to get your eye in, especially when you need 30 in a but
Exactly. I'm starting off with a maiden.
wicket
It
maiden.
looked, indeed, it looked with that last delivery as though he was gripping it slightly differently with the ball sort of out of the hand, almost like a knuckleball, a baseball knuckleball. So I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt that it was deliberate.
Well, after that second ball perler, I'm happy to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Indeed, indeed. So the job of chasing the massive total, Awali requiring 261, has gotten even harder after the first over, where they are none for the loss of one.
There was one half appeal from square leg there. I did think I heard a little bit of a clip, but I don't think the ball quite carried to the keeper. I think he just nudged that on the half volley, but again, another very short run up here.
And another sharpish delivery, pinged in short, and the batsman gets it away, and we have the first runs of the second innings.
The body language from Alshaheen looks very sharp all around, doesn't it?
Does indeed. I mean, you take the field with a lot of confidence when you've scored 260 in a T20. Big swing and a miss.
And that's that short of a length delivery that I was talking about during the first innings, Terry. Just seems a lot harder to get away.
There was some decent bounce for that one, but it did look a tad slower than the previous one. Oh, he's bowled him.
And again, just nudging the top of the stumps. That's the ideal length on this pitch, you have to say. It's a bit of a wild heave, but again, these two Alshaheen opening bowlers just have very, very short run-ups, very simple actions, very little can go wrong with it, fluid actions, and it's a perfect score. It's 1 for 2 in the second over.
Yeah, that wicket ball there, as you were saying, the similar, pretty much the same length as the one before it, but changing the line from being outside off the previous one to being on off. But also, as you said, the batsman did exactly the same shot. Not an ideal situation.
Okay.
So we've only one run on the board for Awali. They have lost 2 wickets. Guided past the slip, the third man comes around and cuts it off, and they get one more. So 2 for 2. Doesn't matter which hemisphere you're from, it means exactly the same thing. You get to choose whoever I said the runs or the wickets first this time. Although if I was properly being Australian, it would be a 2 for 2.
And if you're properly being Australian, there would have been several swear words in that last sentence.
Fair call.
And that seemed a much, much slower ball. To end the over. It's early days in the second innings, but Awali Cricket Club have a mountain to climb here.
It was working the whole time. We were just doing the first innings on this one. 2-6-1 to win. There's the first boundary for the Awali chase.
An interesting donation there from the wicketkeeper to the batsman's fund.
The run's not coming from the bat. 4 byes.
Interesting wicket-keeping technique there. I'm no expert, but trying to kick it, probably not the best tactic there. Impressively, there is a backstop who is shaking hands with Long On in the other game. The backstop still didn't manage to field the ball.
It was quite quick.
Okay, he's done very well to dig that out. That was a very sharp-looking
Indeed.
Yorker. That was right on the money.
It's well played by the batsman there.
Nothing you can do with that. And that Yorker kind of, you should have made Awali Cricket Clubs maybe just slap themselves in the face a bit, because that's one delivery they didn't manage the whole of the first innings. I don't think I saw a Yorker during the whole of the first innings. Oh, that's brilliant fielding at point there. It is a bumpy field, so anything on first, second bounce, very difficult to get.
The batsman scamper through for the single off the fielding effort.
This is a tough field to go on at the best of times. There's just a bit of a slope, and there are a few potholes as well.
Mouse holes, not potholes. They're not that big.
There's been many a twisted ankle here, and charging the bowler their first ball after an essentially perfect start from this left armer.
Arif bowling from the Chateau end has been impressing us immensely, and he's still not quite finished his second over.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and wow, that is a sharp reply. Again, there's another half charge this time, but the ball is passing before he even manages to take another step down the pitch. Arif was having none of that.
Our viewers would be able to notice that we have an AstroTurf wicket here at Vinoř in Prague, but there is no concrete base under it. We have alternating layers of soil and rock, and most of the time without that concrete base you have a lot less bounce. But Arif has no problem of such a short run-up in producing very effective bounce. We're seeing real quality bowling here.
I've always found with these AstroTurf pitches, and as you say, that this rather unique alternating soil and rock combination here, I've always found that, particularly on this Chateau pitch, that if you really put your back into it, even as a spinner, there is something to be had in it for the bowlers all the time. Especially with the new ball. This new white ball on this
Certainly
Chateau pitch
possible.
always does.
Oh,
I say about putting your back into it.
Big appeal for caught behind, and he's been given. I was about to say, I was sure I heard a nick from here. The umpire just taking his time, being certain about the decision. Always the best approach. But another wicket falling for Awali.
I don't think the umpire had any choice once cover had run in and was shouting in his ear. I think the umpire gave that about... he took his time, as you say. I didn't think the umpire, in all honesty, thought it was out. But I think probably on the weight of appeal...
fielder who convinced him.
Probably on the weight of appeals from 11 people. It's early in the morning on a Thursday.
Indeed.
Personally, I didn't hear anything, Terry. Did you hear something, Woody?
I heard a big noise.
Okay, I'll go with
Big
you.
sound.
I'll go with you and cover.
But
I'm with the umpire there. I would have probably given it out, probably just on weight of appeal, to be fair. It's tough to say no to those ones. If you genuinely didn't hear a nick, but then you've got 11 people charging towards you, probably just want to raise your finger just to
Sure. That's
avoid a bit of a fallout.
As an umpire, if it was myself standing there, I can guarantee you the finger would have gone up a lot quicker.
Hello. So, this is Moshe.
And
Fourth
Moshe.
member of the team for today.
Moshe.
So we've got Nishant, you met Terry before, and me now. Yeah?
Hello.
So Moshe.
Moshe. Nice to meet you.
So if you guys can look after him,
Yes,
get him
absolutely.
helping out with whatever we're doing, posts and stuff like that, that'd be wicked. Okay?
He's basically going to be doing stuff in Czech.
Sorry?
Okay, I'll go.
Doing stuff in
Okay.
Czech.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
On Twitter or Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Right. So most of the time, and especially the start, getting him basically you do something in English, and then he does a Czech version. Don't worry about exactly translating it. Make it sound as natural as possible. Better. But you can also get creative. But if you want to start, just go that way.
So, what
Swing and a miss
How old are you?
from the batsman.
12. Okay. So, we have this stupid project just started. And we're just doing like some interviews in between the innings. Yeah. So, I've uploaded a few things. So, does Czech Cricket have a different page in Czech specifically, Terry? Or is the same? Okay. So, this gentleman here, he just scored 160. Yeah. So, would you be able to translate that? Yeah. Okay. So, this is the English version. So, wow. So
as we hear that cricketing classic, Journey, Don't Stop Believing, I think it might be, it's early days, but I think it might be time for Awali Cricket Club to stop believing in this game. And with wild, blind man's heaves like that. I'm not a batting man, Terry, but if I were, I don't think I'd be tempted into putting a single Karuna on Awali Cricket Club, chasing down these 260. It would have to be one of the greatest turnarounds since, well, last week when we saw Ben Stokes.
It didn't take you
impossible.
long to bring this up, did it?
Sorry, I know it's still a bit of a sore subject for you, Terry.
It's
and you're
not,
so angry, you're still
it's-
almost demolishing the whole commentary box.
It's not the sort of subject as well. Even as an Australian, I thoroughly enjoyed watching that incredible display. That was just amazing cricket. It's frustrating to lose a match from such a position, but no, all cricket fans should have just appreciated that phenomenal effort. New ball from the Chateau end, but yet again another dot ball. Wily finding it difficult to get bat on ball so far in this innings. But Alshaheen not finding it difficult getting wickets. 3 for 9 Awali are presently. And coming back for the second here off a little bit of a fumble, but they're through safely. Bowling from the Chateau end now is Mohammad Jafri. He was the star of the first innings, the Centurion. He got 116 off 50. Came and had a chat with us. Lovely gent. Shortish this time. Push towards point. Batsman wants a run. His partner does not. And there is another wicket. Terrible misunderstanding between the batters. And that is the 4th wicket falling. So things are going from bad to worse for Awali here. Alshaheen showing that they are not only good with the bat, they are good with the ball as well. This is a bit of a domination.
No, that's a Pepsi. You can say Pepsi tournament. Yeah. My check is. I know this for a check.
Chris said we should try and keep us out of the sun as much as So Moshe, I haven't met you before. What's you off school now?
Yeah, because they're rebuilding our school, so we didn't have school now.
They're rebuilding your school.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when do you start?
All schools went back on Tuesday in Czech
Yeah.
Republic,
Yeah.
except this.
But for these 2 weeks we don't go to school, and then we go to a school trip for 2 weeks away.
Oh,
And then we start in October, but in the school trip we're going to be doing some school things as well. So these 2 weeks now, next week, and then I go to the school trip.
oh wow.
Where's your school trip?
Somewhere in Jizerské hory.
In?
Jizerské hory.
Oh.
So Moshe, obviously we're very professional broadcasters here, and you want to get a good experience of what it's like to commentate live and that sort of thing, yeah?
Yeah.
We're here to help you and do whatever you want to do. Yeah?
Sorry for the little breaking commentary with just a couple of technical issues. We are still with you. There's a little delay in the online scoring at the moment, so we're not up to date with the exact score. Played cover. There was a call for yes, a call for no, a slight misfield, and they do get the single in the end. How do I scroll down on bloody apples?
2 fingers. Move them from down to up.
Yeah, of course. Of course, it's the least logical thing in the world. And of course, that opens up all these things I don't want it to do.
We're proper DIY here. My thinking is,
I'm really interested by what you're going to say
Cut
next.
cut it into a circle.
Yeah.
If the wind's not too bad now, put it on top.
Yeah.
And just tape around as like an extension.
Well, it actually worked. It worked okay. So it worked okay. And, like, in the picture, it's quite just holding it from landscape. It's actually
Another good ball there from Chigala. This is his third over from the southern end of the Chateau field.
Yeah.
He's picked up 2 wickets already.
Yeah, it's getting slow.
Flicked off the pads, but straight to the fielder. Another dot ball. Pitagala's been very economical so far. He's 2 for 5. He adds another dot ball to his collection. The Awali batsman still not able to find a way to up the run rate. The batsman gets on the front foot and blocks that one out. Guys, you're going to have to whisper. It's live microphones. I've just turned it off while I'm talking now. But yeah, we have to keep really, really quiet most of the time. So the Centurion Mohammed Jaffrey is going to continue from the Chateau end, and his bowling has been very effective. As he goes past the batsman, not again.
Has to be said that all these bowls from Alshaheen have quite short run-ups, very simple, very measured, and then at the time of release, it just comes onto you so quickly.
Indeed, he's
And the batsman has just given the game away there. You feel an Aussie watching that. What do you think?
well, he's won that one.
Making a bit of a meal of it, perhaps.
He's showing that it's stung him quite significantly. To be honest, even if he had have pretended it hadn't, Jaffrey knew he did damage. Ooh, beats the outside edge
And carry through to the keeper as well.
very nicely.
Still rubbing his thigh. I think he's good.
Like I said,
Oh, goodness. He's,
I heard the thump of that ball onto the thigh of the batsman from here, so I don't think there was any way he could pretend that he was okay.
He's going to have a dead leg soon, isn't he? And it's that tough length. It's that back of a length, just clipping the top of the stumps, or maybe just going over, which is just really, really troubling the batsman. And you can see that this bowler Jaffrey has a lovely, tall, upright action with his nice cocked wrist. It's almost a heavy ball which he's bowling as well.
Mm-hmm, yeah, but I thought the batsman dealt with that one quite well.
Yeah,
Chopped down on it,
Yeah.
but not bad effort. Pushes this one straight. Fielder comes around and collects.
Keeper has a chance, so
The non-striker was a little slow.
again some dubious calling here from Awali Cricket Club.
Indeed. Yeah, they've got to get better and at making these calls, sticking with them. They might almost also want to start backing up as non-strikers. This one's gone down the leg side. The umpire had a little consideration but chose not to call it wide. He's decided it was close enough that the batsman could have played a shot.
Interestingly, we've not seen anything down leg side the whole match, so we haven't had that
This was
decision
the
to
first.
be made.
Indeed.
I'm not sure what the umpire's policy is with wide, so long as it's consistent. There
Well,
have been a couple given outside off stump, but
I can tell you exactly what the tournament conditions are in regards to leg side wides, or anything in fact, because I wrote them. We are following with the ICC recommendations for limited overs cricket, where despite what many people think, it is not anything down leg side as a wide. It is much closer than on the offside, but if the batsman can play a legitimate shot, then it will be not called a wide. We have a lot more limited strokes we can play on the leg side, so there are a lot of areas where very close to the body will still be a wide.
But I mean, my question to that is, if a legitimate shot can be played down the leg side, surely anything within a bat's reach could be classed as a legitimate shot?
No.
Enlighten me.
So, for leg side, you're talking about a legitimate shot of a flick, or a pull, or a hook. Just sticking the bat out isn't a legitimate shot, right? And you must have control for it to be a legitimate shot. So even with just flailing the bat at it, and you actually might have made contact that you didn't, the umpire is supposed to judge If he had have connected, he wouldn't have had control, so no, that's a wide. It was wide enough that he couldn't play a controlled, legitimate shot. Another
Vote.
mix-up.
Yes, no, maybe. Shake hands. Thank you. Goodbye. See you next innings.
What it means is that you should still be seeing almost anything that passes the batsman wide of leg will be called, but it is not an automatic scenario. A batsman playing a pull shot and misses and the ball passes underneath his hands and goes down will not be called a wide, because it is more the fact that he's just mistimed it rather than it was too wide for him to play, is sort of the thinking.
A nice early, loud and sharp ball as it should be.
And bowling from the southern end now is a local player, Kamal Singh, who Alshaheen have borrowed due to their couple of their players having issues with arrivals, with flight things, and so they've borrowed a local player. Kamal plays for the Vinoř Cricket Club here in Prague. He's an all-rounder. Usually bowls medium pace.
Hi, nice
Yes,
to see you.
Uncle. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Hello, hello. Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah, here it is. Radio life. With this end, anything new? Anything new this end?
Kamal bowls to the left-hander, flicked away to point, manages to get past the fielder, and they get the 1 run. 4 for 19, Awali. The monumental chase of requiring 261 to win. Kamal Singh with the last ball of his over. Cut away to the backward point fielder, pick up the 1 run, and that is the conclusion of the over. Should bring Awali to 20 for the loss of 4. New batsman for Awali is Irfan Sheikh. Slight correction to the score, 4 for 21.
This really has been a struggle for Awali Cricket Club so far, hasn't it?
It has indeed, yes. Conceding a massive total, and now losing wickets, struggling to score. Irfan just pushes it away, picks up a single.
I mean, on the other hand, at least it has to be said, Alshaheen bowled pretty fantastically.
Absolutely.
No poor balls.
Very impressed.
No flitter ball. But I mean, it's been quite noticeable. The main difference has been that these Alshaheen bowlers have been hitting the shoulder of the bat, or the upper thigh,
All the stumps. Oh!
I think he would have been given run out if the wicketkeeper had hit the stumps there. He was so far down the pitch. He was almost shaking hands with the bowler, saying thank you and good night.
Yeah, the decision has to be made of whether he was actually attempting a run or not for it to be run out compared to stumped. As the non-striker had not moved a muscle, I suspect it might have actually been stumped. As we see, he dances down the wicket again. He's showing some intention here.
It's a bit harsh saying the non-striker isn't backing up. I mean, it isn't moving a muscle, rather. I mean, you have to move some muscles to lean on your bat. And the brief commotion you might have noticed there, is that the superstar team, all in yellow, of Sledgehammer Cricket Club, come all the way from India, perennial T20 champions. I'm sure they'll be hot favourites this year once again, although Alshaheen Cricket Club so far haven't shown me any weaknesses at all.
I was just wondering if Sledgehammer have seen the score that Alshaheen have posted, seen anything of the bowling attack. Are they going to be identifying them as their biggest threat in their attempt to win the tournament 3 years in a row? It must be remembered that Alshaheen, who used to be called Doha Falcons, won the tournament 3 years ago and did not participate for the last 2 years. So it would be very understandable to expect those two sides to be amongst the favourites for the tournament here. And I believe they are in the same group. We will see them come face to face in the early parts of the tournament. We won't even have to wait for the knockout round. No, you can't come in here. We're not streaming. The streams, we're not streaming. There you go. Can you check the... It's just a black screen on YouTube. I think it's possibly when someone said, why did the broadcast stop? And I turned the microphone so I told them, and actually the video stopped.
There's no Wi-Fi, I don't think.
I've got Wi-Fi.
Is there? What does it say? So the camera is going fine. Audio input fine. So it's fine.
The YouTube back end.
Okay, so internet connected.
Yeah, that's the first innings. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing on YouTube.
This is really long. When did somebody call it? Was it a long time ago?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I mean, it's still says it's streaming, right?
Yeah.
But it's,
We've been off air for over 45 minutes.
okay. So
There's none of the second half. Was there anything you actually clicked on when you were?
not that I can recall. Try not to touch anything.
Live controller?
But I mean, so right now I'm
Because
on
that's
this,
what it's showing.
Yeah, yeah. So right now I'm on this cards page. But I mean, that's just for the card. I mean,
Video or playlist? Click on video or playlist. Just, oh no. Your options are only create. Okay. Forget that.
I think it's probably just so somehow that card has just gone on the permanent or semi-permanent. So really, that card has snuck onto here, and we need to unsneak it.
Shouldn't be that. Just public view.
Okay, so that's not done
That's what
anything.
the public's saying.
So it's not the slate thing. There are very limited options as to what could go wrong here. Oh no, this is. I think it's playing now. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry. So whatever happens, should we just adjust the camera?
That's not what is through here. And the problem is there's such a delay.
Apologies if you're just joining us again after a slight tech delay. The atmosphere is building very nicely indeed for this first day of Pepsi Cup Prague 2019. Here, you may hear the sound of radio in the background. The glorious sound on bat on ball is somebody knocking their bat in. I always appreciate the fact that somebody's come from probably halfway around the world and not just brought their whole cricket kit with them, but brought a mallet with the explicit purpose of knocking their bat in while on holiday. That takes some commitment.
Indeed.
I've always found that knocking in a bat is probably one of the most difficult tasks on earth.
Difficult's probably not the term I would use. Tedious would have been the word I would have used.
Difficult in terms of that it's a relatively simple task, which is very possible. A monkey could do it. I mean, skill-wise, you can explain it within a minute what somebody needs to do. You could teach anybody to knock in a bat. It's not overall that difficult. The concept isn't that tough. But where can you knock in a bat? Where can you knock in a bat? If you do it at home, you're disturbing people. If you live in a flat, you're going to be disturbing people next door, upstairs, downstairs, everywhere. You can't do it. It's not like playing your guitar through your headphones or anything like that. There's simply no way of dampening the sound down.
Yep. There's no way and nowhere you can knock in a bat without annoying someone.
Absolutely. And if you go to a park, it's where people go to relax. If you go to a cricket game, it's where people go to relax and enjoy some peace and quiet as a spectator. There is no appropriate way that you can knock in a bat.
So everyone stopped watching because of
Sounded like that wrapped him on the pads. There's no appeal, so there's obviously no consideration of anything. Although that must have hit the pad of the wicket keeper because the umpire signalled byes. Due to that annoying nature of bat knocking in, I always bowled him.
He went back to a ball that he should have certainly been forward to.
Absolutely. The success for Alshaheen continues and the problems for Awali continue.
I think by this time, Alshaheen's opening batsman, Mr. Jaffrey, had already reached his 100. And here we are, Awali, 37 for 6 after 10.
Yeah, 5 wickets down for only 39 runs for Awali, and 10.4 overs have been completed. It's only the first match of the tournament for them. Hopefully they will grow into it. If not, they still have lovely Prague to enjoy for a few days.
The problem is with these sorts of tournaments is that although it does happen over 4 days and people think they can ease themselves into it, you do find that momentum is a huge, huge factor in this, and that the teams who start well really, really do tend to go through the gears as the tournament goes on. But the teams who start badly, notice over the years that players start to become a little bit despondent. Captains start looking for answers where there might not be any.
Oh!
And now, as we see, we got 2 slips in. I always like to see a couple of slips in for T20 cricket. Not sure about
fantastic sight.
Only 2 slips for a single delivery. Second slip drops out to a regulation point.
Oh, big swing, but no ding.
This ball's got a very nice whippy action at the crease. You're getting some nice loops, some nice drift.
Wicketkeeper is appealing for LB. Umpire not interested. Signals leg byes to complete the over.
And to be quite fair, Terry, I don't think the umpire would have been interested if there were 3 sets of stumps placed diagonally behind the wicketkeeper. I think that was an outrageous half appeal there. But when you're 41 for 5, I suppose you're allowed to do whatever you like.
I'm curious of how you term that's a half appeal when the wicketkeeper has thrust his hand high in the air and bellowed out. How's that?
I think he can go louder. Based on what we saw in the first over, Terry, I think Alshaheen Cricket Club have some decibels in their lungs.
Absolutely.
And this is certainly what I like to see, the next teams warming up. And they're doing synchronized warm-ups as well. That's pretty cute, isn't it? They must all be very good friends.
Fantastic. Nishant is referring to Winterthur Cricket Club from Switzerland, who we'll be seeing in our next live stream. This is their 6th year attending the Pepsi Cup. Every single year they have come. They love it so much. It's the turn of the bowler to be the sole one appealing, although I think perhaps someone in the covers joined in, but when someone out of the bowler and the wicketkeeper are not making any efforts, you kind of can ignore. The batsman has touched every single part of his gear.
It's a very professional looking shovel down to long on.
Picks up 4. A rare boundary.
Picks up a single rather, Terry. That was a single out to long on.
I didn't see the fielder behind the batsman. I thought he strolled so nonchalantly because it had just eased to the boundary, and
I think he was just really happy with the shots that he played there. And again, it's just what I was saying earlier on about Terry, about if you just put your back into it, even as a slow bowler, there's something in this pitch. It just seems to skid off so much. I just wonder whether the better teams will be varying how much they really just bang the ball in. Because I think even as a spinner, on AstroTurf pitches, you tend to just get a bit more skid with your spinners as well.
Absolutely.
Especially, I've always found that the leg spinners tend to be quite tough to face on Astro.
Oh, I think we are going to have a boundary now. Although it's not going to go to the batsman.
And it looks like extras are in grave danger of being top scorer here for Awali Cricket Club. Sheikh is on 23, but extras aren't far behind.
I'm not completely confident that that's accurate. Because it was listed as being on 7 before it even faced the ball. So there might be a little bit of an issue with the online scoring for
I faced 7
Irfan Sheikh. That is the over completed, and one thing that may be slightly surprising is that after how impressive the first 3 bowlers for Alshaheen were, how many bowlers do you think they've actually used in this round?
I think I've lost count now.
They've gotten to at least 7. And I was just saying, when you see 3 bowlers of the quality we saw at the start of this innings, you would think no way we're going to see 7 bowlers. I'm guessing perhaps Alshaheen are taking the opportunity to get everybody loosened up for the matches to come, thinking, well, this game's done. We can give you a rest and we can give you a bowl and everyone can get their eye in.
Very wise. Though I do expect their opening bowler, Mr. Arif, to come back with a vengeance if he does get the chance. He may well be the one to clean up the tail. Meanwhile, Winterthur are a good 15 minutes into their pretty much stretching.
Are you actually certain they're only stretching and it's not a yoga session? It's, a couple of them look like they were moving into downward dog there.
Yes, you're quite right, and they do seem to have their captain / yogi in the middle, who's leading the stretches.
So I've got another play and a miss out in the middle.
Meanwhile, I haven't seen any warm-ups from the Sledgehammer team from India, who are Winterthur's opponents. They are having a bit of a team huddle.
I believe they're getting their team photo taken at present. Another wicket falls. The small child walks in front of the camera.
Winterthur, meanwhile, are now twisting themselves into pretzels in preparation to beat the Sledgehammer.
Yeah, I think the yoga call is getting more and more accurate.
I'm pretty sure that's not an actual stretch.
Kind of looks like 2 separate stretches that they've decided to combine to save time. Or as they're from Switzerland, is it something connected to clockwork?
Well, pretty early on in the morning, it just seems like some people have limbered out of bed. I think a few of the Winterthur players might be happy to just be lying on the ground a little bit. Meanwhile, on the Banks field, we see some of the Canadian team gesticulating wildly and angrily. In the battle between America and Canada.
So 7 for 53. Back underway. Batsman blocks that one out. I believe it's Saxena bowling from the southern end. Gets the batsman onto the back foot. To see if there was bat in that or if the umpire will make a signal. He wandered over to the area where I would expect a leg by signal, but then just wandered back. So the batsman will get ownership of that 1 run. Over is complete now. Batsmen seem like their only real intention now is to try to bat out the 20 with no regard to exactly what they are able to score. "14 overs having been completed, 3 wickets in hand. Do you think they will get to 20 overs?
I was worried you were going to ask me, do you think they'll get to 260?
Oh, I don't think anyone has any fantasies about that.
I always like to see a batsman taking guard on Chateau, especially number 9 batsman, who needs 200 runs off about 30 balls. What is the point of taking guard on AstroTurf when, I mean, asking an umpire when you can actually do it yourself?
Well, it's about your association with the stumps. You know, you want to be able to judge the line of the ball.
But can't you just track it from the stumps, middle of the stumps, to?
Sure, but when you've got
When you've got an
someone
umpire of this caliber
down there who can tell you, and who, if you get bowled the very next ball and you thought it would have been something you could leave, you can then blame the umpire. Doesn't matter whether it was down to your lack of skill or the bowler's amount of skill.
So I always found that very peculiar. I wonder when that actually crept into the game, when that tradition of taking guard, per se, actually crept into the game. Because it's a slightly unusual cricket-related esoteric thing to do, isn't it?
No. You know, while many people think the purpose of batting is to accumulate runs, there is also the purpose of to defend your wicket. And you need to know exactly where you are in relation to your wicket to know how best to defend it. So if you...
Hey, good job. Pajama. It's always nice to share a bit of banter with the third man, especially if a catch was to come straight down his throat or right down the back of his neck.
Isn't that the Centurion Mr. Jeffrey you were just conversing with?
I believe he is allowed to do whatever he likes after his marvellous performance earlier on. Set the tournament on fire. They should be carrying him off the pitch today. I liked your interview with him. He just said it was easy.
Well,
He said, was it difficult out
said
there? No,
was-
it was easy.
He said there was a little bit of getting used to in the first over because there was a little bit of moisture.
I found
around.
the first two balls boring, and then I hit everything else for six.
Away. Stop. Put the ball on there. No more. Go away.
Our viewers are getting a lovely view of the back of the Centurion Joffrey. Their camera, able to enjoy the physique of the run scorer. As Nishant said, the star of the tournament already, and we haven't even had completion of any matches.
Well, they talk about hogging the screen in Hollywood. I think Joffrey, deservedly, and
Yes.
rightfully so.
Yes.
It
He was
is-
the focus of our camera while he was batting for a period when he bowled. And now while he stands and observes, the camera still is focused on him. Looked like a pretty good appeal, that one, getting the inside of the pad, but the umpire says going down leg. "16 overs gone now. Bowler comes in from the Chateau and batsman hits it straight back to the bowler. Bowler's unable to stop it, and the fielder coming around on the boundary is unable to stop it. So that's 4 runs for Awali. A rare but much needed boundary. So, oh, he's come down the wicket and he's completely missed it, and he has been clean bowled. Can you get them to turn the music down a little bit? Carol? Could you get them to turn the music down a little bit?
Yes.
Because it's going straight through the microphone, straight onto YouTube, and we can get shut down for copyright violation. Seriously.
Okay.
Yeah. They do it all the time.
Okay.
It just has to go a little bit and it should be fine. Eight wickets fallen for Awali now. New batsman has come to the crease, is Stan, who bowled a little bit in the first innings. Put down a catch. Then redeemed himself with a couple of really good stops on the boundary to save some runs for his team. See how long he can last. That one's been called wide by the umpire. And he's bowled. Ninth wicket falling. And Yassius picks up his second victim. Both have been bowled. Leaves us with only one more batsman coming to the crease for Awali. One suspects that this match does not have much longer to go, and Awali can put the pain of this very heavy defeat behind them, hopefully, and move on to bigger and better things. Improvement. Looks like Kamal Singh is coming back to bowl from the southern end. He bowled 2 overs earlier in the innings. 1 wicket for 7 runs. That's very loopy. Full toss, hit, and that is 6. Half-hearted appeal. 1 from point and 1 from long on. Kamal bowls. Batsman looks to hit him but doesn't get hold of it. Sorry.
First trade count doesn't go with it.
Yeah. You have to ask Mina or Nishant. Oh, no, you can't just come in here, sir. It's a better shot, and it's a good stop on the boundary by the fielder, denying batsman a 4. They're only able to get through for the 1. Cut away into the gap, and they'll get the single. This is the first of 3 matches we'll be live streaming today from the Pepsi Cup in Prague. We have 6 matches being played in total. We have 2 grounds here. As I said, we'll only be live streaming 3 of them. You can see the full schedule of live stream games on our YouTube channel. Batsman just pushes that one away. Yasir is the bowler continuing from the Chateau end. His first over he got 2 for 6. Oh, there's another half-hearted appeal. Prodded away by the batsman. They scamper through for 1. Can you find Chris?
He was warming up.
Yeah, Tom might need him.
What is the password in case we need it? You want to just write it down?
Yeah, I will.
Pass that pencil. Pencil. Just
So he's watching your full name. Is it short for something?
No, it's not.
Do you have the team list of Panthers and Winter
The
Thor?
third umpire has to get them. They're supposed to give 4 copies, and we're supposed to get 1. Alright? Umpires, scorers,
Everyone should get
commentary. Yeah. Guys, don't walk in front of the camera. This is a barrier, it means don't walk. In the final over here, and that's 4 buys to add to Awali's score.
Well, I did suspect that buys and extras might be close to top score. I'm sure they're in the mix right now. We are having a few technical gremlins with the scorecard, but these will be ironed out throughout the day, I'm sure.
And that is the end of our first match, live streamed here from the Chateau fields at Vinoř in Prague for Pepsi Cup. Alshaheen running out, big winners. 6 for 260. Awali ending 9 wickets down. I think about 92, 94. We will be... Apparently there is 1 more over. The umpire had indicated that it is over. The scorecard had said that we were in the 20th over. But it was 1 more ball was required. Now the umpire takes the bails off. Now we are definitely done and dusted. So we will be grabbing interviews with the captains of both sides, speaking to them about the match. We'll be able to find lots of interviews and some action on our Facebook page throughout the tournament. But with that comprehensive victory from Alshaheen, we will sign off with this match. And we'll be back with you not too long with the next match of our streaming schedule. Said 3 matches in total will be streaming for you here today. The next game is Panthers versus Winterthur, and we'll be getting underway 11:30 local time, so hopefully in about 15 minutes.
Do you have any pen and paper? Write the names of the players.
You've got team sheets you've been given. You've got sheets with your squad already written on it. You've given them, they look like that, except they're small. You should have a whole bunch of team sheets.
Maman.
Can you write it out 4 times, please?
4 times, where? Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, I need to get my sheet as well. You need me to write something.
You should already have your team sheets.
No, I don't do it. You just came in now. I mean, in the bus in the afternoon.
You should have been given them to you yesterday. If all the clubs
They
were
gave
given
it back. They took it back.
No, not these ones.
Yeah.
The small
No,
ones.
we weren't given. We were not given.
Alex? Yeah. Where should we find the next match between Innings and all?